Hello everybody, welcome back, good morning. Let's have a look at Ethereum. I'm just going to think about Ethereum really today. Sunday is a bit of a lame day really. I never really expect much on a Sunday, but if it, for whatever reason it does go green, it's usually a really good sign. So if you want to join the live streams, by the way, there's a link in the description below for the Patreon. We're doing a live stream tonight, doing Wednesdays and Sundays, so we'll be doing one tonight, so feel free to join for that, £7.50 a month. Other than that, let's get stuck in. So we're looking at Ethereum basically now on the 4 hourly. We're creeping, and again, it's only just started really, creeping above this trend line. It's the 2,800. Previously, it should have been a support basically, but that big day of dumping in all of the markets took it way below that, and since then we've been using it as resistance. So look, wicks don't really count for much. Candle bodies count for something. This is the first candle body that we've seen above it since we struggled after the drop. And then ever so slightly above us is 2,880, 2,900. These areas are all major resistances since they are the death cross, the 200 exponential and simple death cross on the 4 hourly. Look, until they're all broken, and not just these, but above the 3,100, we've got to expect rejection from all these areas. Going over to the daily, you got 200 simple, you got 50 exponential, 50 and the 200, all again death crossing. We've got the death cross here on the exponentials. The simple moving averages haven't got a death cross. With this kind of trajectory, I'd imagine the death cross complete towards the end of this coming week, really. So we do have to really climb above it and get above that 3,000 and pretty quick. Bollinger Bands are pinching, so it's looking for some kind of volatile move, really. That's what happens when the Bollinger Bands get so tight. They've been tight like this before, but this is the tightest they've been in what looks like a very long time. In fact, just looking back anecdotally, that kind of small gap like that, probably haven't seen anything like that since here. Or perhaps maybe even here. So yeah, we are looking for a big move, and so the question is it going to go up or down? I mean, with the market behaving the way that it did do on Friday, where all markets pulled back, I think to see crypto try to climb back up is probably a good look, because the S&P closed down pretty savagely on Friday. And the Dixie is more or less unchanged. It's still in a downward trend, so I don't really think that the Dixie is going to return to its previous local high. I think the Dixie is going to continue down to its cycle low, which is down towards this trend line that's been in play for about 12, 14 years or so. So I think that's where we're headed towards the majority of this year. But what it's going to do between now and tomorrow is to be fair, it's in crypto's hands. If you ever look at traditional markets, indices, stocks, especially when they are, doing behaving in the way that they are at the moment, which is a sort of sideways, up and down, volatile. There's a bit of fear in the market, as I'm sure you're aware, in crypto, but it's the same in stocks after the Chinese chip day and then the tariffs and all these other things. It's not uncommon to look at crypto as a pre-market to the actual pre-market, if that makes sense. So on the weekend or late at night, for instance, you could look at crypto and go, oh, okay, well, how's crypto performing? Okay, it's performing this way. This might be an indicator as to how we should be treating the pre-market before the actual market opens. So at the moment, it's showing signs of, I wouldn't say life, but so it's not continuing down. And if we're going to start breaking above resistances, flipping them to supports, that's really good. And based on Ethereum, we've got this descending trend line as well, which comes in around the 200 exponential simple on the daily and obviously on the 4 hourly. It's all coming in around this area. So we are thinking, obviously big resistance around 2,900, but if for whatever reason, if we get above there, base above there, continue to move above there, I think we might even probably at that point even consider that the low already been in. As I was saying yesterday or the day before, we are looking at a bit of a rounded bottom. Rounded bottoms are normally a good shape for reversal. This wick was unusually big. Probably, I didn't expect to see that, to be honest with you. My bids on Ethereum were 3,000, 2,800. All of this stuff down here I've not bothered with. So, I don't shy away from the fact I've been knee-deep in crypto since sort of mid-January, really. And I'm not really prepared to buy any more at this price. It would have to come down significantly lower, and at that point, even though I would have been able to get my foot in the door at lower prices, probably be a little resentful because my expectation was that it should have turned around while Ethereum was around these areas. So to see it get up to these areas again, it does fill me with a bit of hope. But I do have more than hope on my side. I have my overall projection of the total 2, which for me is a good way to think about how the market should behave. And what we've seen in the past is we got in at this level, big move, got out around this area, big move, got in around this area, big move, got out around this area, and then started to get in around these areas, bang, bang. And now really what we're looking for is the next big move. And, it doesn't have to be a serious, massive, chaotic, huge, parabolic run up. But based on my overall expectations, it should go up from here. It really should start to go up from here. And I don't mean from today, but I mean generally from this kind of area, we should be making another higher high. Maybe even the next, maybe even the last high, the next parabolic high. So I'm happy to be knee deep in crypto, although it doesn't. It's not instantly gratifying. But if there's one thing that I generally get right, it might not be the day to day or the hour to hour, but if there's one thing I generally get right is the big swings. We've got all the big swings in the bear market. We've got the dead cat bounces, or we called them the everything bounces throughout 2022. They were tricky, but they were big swings. We got in and we got out 3 times successfully in a giant downtrend. It's very hard. We got in on this and on this, which is like pretty significant. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen right now, but within the next couple of months, we should be at a higher high. And it could even be a really significant higher high. Like, might even start going parabolic. My expectation really isn't that it's going to go parabolic until sort of after the summer, but allocating at lower levels, that's where you make the most amount of money. No one really knows where the low is, no one knows where the high is, but as far as time is concerned, we are sort of overdue a reversal at this point, and we're starting to see signs of that on Ethereum. Let's just take it to the Ethereum Bitcoin pair as well, which, again, for most people is going to be pretty boring, but for me, I quite like. Because if we're going to turn around from anywhere, this would be a great place for it to turn around. Again, this isn't anything new. I was showing this, I think, either yesterday or the day before. So, major high, major support, major resistance, major support. So we come back down to it again. And with that comes 1, 2, 3 drives, big bullish divergence on the weekly money flow index for this pair here. If we're going to get a big move up, it'll happen from here. Again, let's not say we're going to go straight up to new all-time highs, but we've got big resistances. We've got the first one is a 30%, second one is a 50%, third is an 85%, fourth is 118%, and then from there, we really could be looking for a much bigger move than that. But until it gets going, this is going to be a Rec City chart for everybody to admire. Look, you've heard it before. It's so stupid to say, but you do have to buy low to sell high. And in order to buy low, you kind of have to buy downtrends, really. And this has been one hell of a downtrend, but we are seeing signs of reversal on it. And signs of reversal is usually enough for me to start to get interested in it. So, we've established resistance on the USDT pair and 2,900, and then obviously 3,100. Once that is done, we're looking for 4,000 and then new all-time highs. The reason I'm banging on about Ethereum isn't because I'm a massive bull on Ethereum. It's just because it has such weight in the market. If you're looking for the total 2 to shift, Ethereum is going to make a big impact on that just because of the size of the market cap. And again, not that I use this chart as much as I used to, but if you're going to see any kind of reversal on the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's going to require Ethereum to start doing it too. Now we are seeing the dominance chart curling over, get rejected around these areas. Again, there is some rhythm to it. Let's face it. There's your retest of a Bollinger Band, retest, and now we're sort of breaking down from it. So that is a good look, and if we are going to continue with this, and then we're going to take this chart on face value, by the way, if we're going to do that, then the next move down was going to be down to 58.5% dominance, which is a big line in the sand, has been for a while. We were thinking that could have been the first area of the major resistance where an alt season could take place. That's now massive support, with the 200 exponential being a golden cross. So if that comes down to that area and gets support from there, to expect a V-shaped recovery and back up to new highs, that's not unlikely either. But for whatever reason, if we do break down, and again, there's a bit of optimism kicking in here, if we do break down from here, then that's it. That's the alt season that everybody's been waiting for. But until we see it, it's just that, you know, this is where we look for confirmation from it. Confirmation is a bit of a bold word. It's more likely that you're going to get massive continuation in the form of altcoins. And where better to get continuation in the form of altcoins when they're all at significant lows and you're sitting in despair? I mean, they're not all significant, are they? I mean, let's face it, we always want to admire this, and the fact that we're big hodlers on this channel for the most part of XRP. I mean, this bear market, or this downtrend, or this whatever you want to call it, it's really not even dented our portfolio. It's not really, because Bitcoin and XRP are still riding significant highs and staying at these levels, which is pretty awesome. So as far as what I'm concerned, I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy with the way everything's going. So if we're going to get another emphasis on the market, especially for altcoins, XRP is in a great position. Ethereum looks reasonable. It looks very good on the Bitcoin pair. The total 2 also looks really good as well, positioned around that 200 exponential, which is where V-shaped recoveries often take place from, and the dominance chart potentially you're looking to break down. So we'll see, but I keep saying it, and it's boring. I know it's boring because I say the same thing pretty much every day. It's because the things that, nothing has changed. I know people are talking about the top being in, or the bull market's over. I've seen it in the comments. I don't know why people are able to say this sort of stuff so confidently, but without any sort of evidence. I appreciate it's just a YouTube comment, but if you really do believe, after watching this video, that the bull market is over and we're going into a significant downtrend, at least give some evidence for it. Really, opinions are fine, but I don't form my opinions on the way I feel. I form them around what it is that I'm looking at here. And as far as what I can tell, Bitcoin is still significantly high. XRP also. The Ethereum to Bitcoin pair is significant support, as is the total 2. The DXY about to, from what I can see, continue with its general direction, which is throughout the rest of the year, all the way down to 100 or a little lower. It looks like a perfect situation to sit and wait and watch your portfolio get ready to explode. I'm not joking. I'm not saying it for anyone's benefit. I'm knee deep in all of this, and this is my analysis. This is the way I make my money, and hopefully there's plenty of money to be made. What I'm trying to explain is, if you have an argument counter to mine, base it on some analysis. Give me an example as to why you think it's finished. Because currently we're sitting at major supports across some of the most important charts to point up to some significant highs to complete not just the 4-year cycle, but the DXY cycle as well. It looks like a really good situation to be in crypto right now, and we should be looking for a pretty fruitful year. Even if you just to base it around the DXY alone, right? The DXY does look like it's going to complete its cycle of its own, which means it's going to continue to move down from here, which is often the case. It's going to be good for all assets pegged to dollars, traded in dollars, which is the vast majority of the world market, let's face it. So we're going to see a decrease in the DXY, should see an uptrend across the board for everything. The sweeping statement, which is why I'm always saying buy into strength, not weakness, but that's what it looks like to me. And again, it's not how I feel, it's how I am interpreting all these charts that feed into my overall projection, which is that of we're about to start to make another higher high. And it's often the case that the last higher high, especially in crypto, is a significant one, which means that we ought to think about selling on the next parabolic move. You get a parabolic move, make sure that you sell, or be prepared to sell, because we forget what downtrends result in. For the most part, would be a big uptrend. So people are forgetting at the moment. I know it's just human nature. People forget how awesome crypto can be when it's green. And then when it goes green, they forget how devastating it can be when it's red. All right, so at the moment, people are, I say people, not you, but most people that I can tell are giving up. They're finished, it's over with, they can't stomach it. This cycle is not any different to previous altcoin cycles. In fact, I would make the case that this altcoin cycle has been better than the previous one. This is the previous one. There's your first part of the bull market. There's a lower high over here. There's your market crash. And then basically, we didn't make a higher high for a lot longer. This is a series of higher highs, higher lows. This is a more significant uptrend. This is a better bull market than previous. Right? I think a lot of people weren't around here. People might have only been involved here, and this is what they're generally expecting. But no, that's not what it was like. This is what it was like. Pretty underwhelming to stay in an altcoin for a prolonged period of time. This is why you have to try and get used to the swings of the altcoins, because it's absolutely perfectly normal for them to have big moves up and then big massive moves down. Big moves up, big massive moves down. It's no different. I would make the case that this time has been more bullish than the last bull market, and that is counter to what a lot of people are saying in the comments, that this bull market never begun. This bull market certainly did begin. I think the only problem that those people might be experiencing is that they bought the wrong altcoins, because you can't really sit in altcoins for an entire bull market. I did it last time for Ethereum, and I was up and I was down and I was side to side. I was all over the place effectively, unchanged for about 3 years, really, 2.5 years. And then it rallied and it continued to rally, and it's still up right now. So, but that was Ethereum, and that was in the last bull market, which outperformed Bitcoin by double. So, this is just the way it is. All right, this is just the way it is. But there is no taking away from the fact that this bull market is clearly better than the last one for altcoins, generally speaking. The problem is there's so many of them out there, and people get attracted to the wrong ones because of, fresh-faced influencers that have probably taken had a golden handshake with a developer. Believe me, that happens. I get offers all the time to sell out my audience for the sake of $1,000. Oh, can you pump this coin? Can you say this about this coin? I'll give you $2,000. I'll give you $3,000. All I want you to do is just to completely sell out your audience. That's all I want you to do. I'm like, no, that's crazy. But there's other people out there that would certainly do that, and they do it. And now look at the state of those altcoins. They're nothing. If you ever look at anything that I talk about, it's very rarely something out of the top 50. Why is that? Because those charts are the most relevant. Those charts have proven, at least in this cycle, to be the strongest ones, and they continue to be the strongest ones, and they reflect this higher high, higher low cycle that we didn't have in the last bull market. So, like I said, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. There is no 100% guaranteed, path to success here. But don't sort of discount what it is that you're seeing in front of your face. Accumulation, higher highs, higher lows. It's an uptrend, a big one. And bull markets in crypto are not easy. They're not easy. You have a plan from the outset, from the very beginning. You have a plan, and you stick to that plan. Generally, if you've thought about it, good luck to you. But if there is no thought going into what it is you're buying, if you're buying based on what some random person has said, with no evidence for it, especially from the technical perspective, then you're kind of asking for trouble. And I think a lot of people are in trouble basically at the moment. Most altcoins, because we look at these things regularly, twice a week on the Patreons, most altcoins look horrendous. There is a handful out there that look good. And just buy into strength if you're going to buy at all. Don't buy into weakness. It might work out if the whole market turns up, which it probably will. Terrible charts might have a chance to get redeemed. But overall, let's focus on the strength here. This is a strong trend, and it's better than the previous bull market. It's better than the previous bull market. So if it's behaving better than the previous bull market, then maybe we should expect it to be better when it comes to an end. Anyway, we have a long video there. Let me know if you made it to the end. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.